I am at my most beguiling, my most beseeching when I am dancing. At those times, all that is kind happens. At those times when I am dancing, I am at my best. When I place my hands curving, a bird caught in beauty in flight. When I stretch my strong thighs as a call to the immortal. My father never saw me dance. I was awkward, stumbling when I walked, a young small girl of 6, never wanting to leave the dark chair, the shadow of mother's dress. I was brought to dancing school, where slowly I learned what was best in me and all that was unlovable. I danced and danced and danced. As sipping honey water, I hovered like a hummingbird above the curved sigh of flutes. Aroused, I rose to a glow of expectant crimson, brilliant as a toucan in the steaming equatorial heat. And, as in all desire, I was fired to fuchsia, heightening to a flaming rainbow of all colors. When I am dancing, I am at my most beguiling. If my father had only seen me dance, he never would have left me.
For 20 years, I was an opera singer. In the Los Angeles area, I sang with San Francisco Opera, Seattle Opera, and toured, did a lot in LA. And it was great fun. It was wonderful fun. Mezzo-sopranos get to do all kinds of things like boys and witches and villains and all this kind of yummy stuff. Not, of course, deep in my heart, all I ever wanted to really do was be Butterfly and stab myself and die on stage. I never got to. So second best was being a mezzo and doing all those fun things. It was a really exciting time in my life. I sang in the Hollywood Bowl several times. Lots of little boy roles, which were fun because I was raising 2 little boys. And for instance, when I did Hansel and Gretel, I did that with the San Francisco Opera. And my kids wouldn't come, well, I did Hansel in that one, and then I did The Witch another time. My kids wouldn't come anywhere near me. They would not even set foot on the stage as long as I was in makeup. So I've always had this fun thing of being a mother and being a performer. I decided to go back to college full-time and switch gears and became an activist. First job I got out of college was on Mayor Bradley's staff in Los Angeles, working for fair housing and for people, senior housing and people without housing. And that was my transition into the real world and out of opera. I sang with Jose Iturbi, conducting the El Brujo of De Falla, a whole symphony orchestra behind me. So that really is right up there near the top. And I had this wonderful pink dress.
I've been dancing all my life. I think when I was 18 years old, I started dancing. And in San Diego, I taught for 40 years at San Diego State in dance and an equal amount of time with the San Diego Dance Theater. And then I retired. And for about 5 years, I didn't dance. I did other things to stay in shape. I did Pilates and yoga, weights training, and when you repeat things a lot, sometimes you get tired. You're supposed to always try to be improving and making it better, of course, but sometimes that's hard. Along with the professional dance company, there's also these 2 generations of performing going on, one full of youth and vigor, and as the senior dancers are involved in it, it has to do with vicariously watching, but also watching their youth pass away. Because we're senior dancers and we forget things. And a lot of it is sort of like when you go to the kitchen to get something and you know you're there to get something, but you've forgotten what it was. And we all experience that as we get older, and this dance tries to exploit that.
I had many hopes for my life, but they seem to have died away. I always thought I was on the right path. I always believed that I should be aiming toward fulfilling my life's purpose, but somehow it just doesn't seem to have worked out. I have no family, no goods, and my life from day to day is a jumble of activity. I used Joseph Campbell a lot from listening to his programs over and over again, and I took up, learned more and more about the symbols and the cards, and started thinking more about just the spiritual life, the life of the soul in general, not pinned to any specific religious beliefs. And I was just kind of really into feeling the spiritualism around me in the in the universe.
I had been visiting a garden in India, and I had a very fond memory of that garden because it was like a haven of peace. And it happened that there was an old man, a gardener, who was there, and I made his acquaintance. And he invited me to go in another part of the garden, and he showed me a tree with very, very large leaves. And this was a very special tree called a mulberry tree from Pakistan. And the fruits are very different from what we know as a mulberry. It has a very long stem and a very long fruit. And he offered me some, and it was absolutely delicious. I was very happy to have made his acquaintance and to try those fruits. And a little later on, when I was back in the United States, I wanted to plant a tree, and by chance it happened to be the same mulberry tree. There are different aspects of Indian dance. Some of them are pure dance, and some of them are telling a story. When you tell a story, you have mudras or hand gestures that have been codified in a treaty that is very ancient, but you use it in even modern dance. And one of those gestures, to give you an example, is this, the lotus. And you can use the lotus in different contexts. For instance, if you have it here, Ala Padmam is the lotus. If you have it near your heart, it means that you have affection or love for somebody. Or it can mean different things. If you have it near your mouth, you open the lotus, and it means that you are going to speak. For instance, I picked the mulberry, that was part of the story. So I pick like this, and then of course I could eat the mulberry, but my choreographer helper told me that in modern dance you didn't have to explain everything. You could just be inspired by certain things and do the movement.